Welcome to the first episode of the Anything But Standard podcast. I'm Butter.
I'm Adan.
And this podcast is about
Anything But Standard.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about a couple things, of course. To start off, though, we wanted to give a little background of each of us. So I guess I'll go ahead and begin.
Yeah.
I'm Butter. I've been playing the game since I was 7, so that would be 2008. But I've been playing since I was 7. My first competitive season was 2014. Qualified for Worlds in 2022. Went to London. That was a lot of fun. And nowadays I'm a tournament organizer for a game store where we live. And yeah, just been running tournaments, judging, doing all that, spectating this season, of course. Then we have Adan, of course, my co-host.
Yeah, my name is Adan. I'm actually a teacher, but I've been playing since around Diamond and Pearl block. Of course, but back then I was mostly just collecting. I didn't really know how to play the game. Nowadays, I've actually gone to 3 majors, right?
Yeah, San An, NAIC last year.
Yeah, and then I went to San An, and actually I guess it's 4 majors. I've gone to San An twice, Atlanta, and NAIC last year. Yeah, so I've been collecting and playing for a while, but I've just recently started going to majors.
To begin, of course, we want to give a little bit of lore of why we decided to start this podcast. It all started with Atlanta, of course.
Yeah.
We ended up driving to Atlanta. So we live in East Texas, and for us the drive was about 10 hours. We drove from my house, we drove all the way to the Atlanta Convention Center. And it took us 10 hours. Prior to the trip, I had set up this whole playlist of like podcast stuff, and of course I had my Spotify playlist. We were ready to listen to whatever the heck we wanted.
Yeah,
right?
I had it in my head that I had pole. I was playing straight pole to the Atlanta region. I was playing in the main event, but it was not. And I was like, I'm gonna get so many games in on live. I'm gonna practice. I had my Vita on me. I had the whole 9 yards.
He was ready to do anything, right? Listen to the music, listen to the podcasts, play some live, play the Vita, and then we just ended up yapping for 10 hours straight. Actually,
literally the whole 10-hour drive. I played I think 2 games of live, and the whole rest of the time was just yapping.
We were just talking about live, Pokemon, whatever, you name it, we talked about it probably, And of course he played in the main event. I spectated. I played a bunch of GLC, Sun and Moon Lost Thunder format, and then of course on Sunday after Adan scrubbed out. Adan, you want to talk about that for a sec?
Yeah. So this was actually this is my 4th major ever, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling pretty good. I was playing when I started. I played like Zard and stuff. That was the first deck I really tried getting good at, and I played that to San Antonio for the last NAIC. I played like Zard Pult, and I was like, okay, I'm playing a good deck. I'm gonna play Pult. When 03
drop, it was pretty unfortunate.
It was unfortunate, but on the bright side, as soon as I dropped, I got to play in the big GLC event on Saturday.
Yeah, so you got to play some GLC while I was busy hanging out with friends playing GLC just for fun. And so we played some GLC mostly Saturday, hung out with our friends throughout the weekend. But Sunday is where it gets good because I don't know if y'all know, the listeners out there, but I have a cube. Some people like to call it the Butter Cube. It's not even my cube technically, but we host major cube events every regional we try and make it. Me and a group of people, we all have the same cube built. So we had done a big cube draft on Sunday. I want to say we had 20 players, so that was a lot of fun. We did that cube draft, and then we did another 10-man after that, and then we did a 7-man later at one of my friend's apartments who lives in Atlanta. We had so much cubing.
Yeah, we cubed we got to the convention center like 8:30 or something, and from the time we got there to like well into the night. I think we left our friend's apartment like 12 or something.
Yeah, 12:30.
Just all day.
Just cubed the whole time.
And it was only like 3 cube drafts too, right?
Yeah, it was only the 3. The first one was a 20-man. We had done a cut to top 4 or at least we tried to. It didn't work for some reason on Limitless, but that's okay. We did. I think it was 5 rounds, and then we did a 10-man that was like 3 or 4 rounds, and then 3 rounds for the 7-man later.
So all that to say, like, yeah, I played in the main event on Saturday, and of course I didn't do well, right? But I had so much. The bulk of the fun that I had was playing GLC, playing Cube, like interacting with other Pokemon players, like like-minded Pokemon players who loved Cube and frankly other people who were like down to Cube all day, right? And playing GLC at a major, right? And so I think that's really where on the way back we started kind of getting the idea for this podcast.
Yeah, on the way back from Atlanta, going back home to East Texas, we had another 10-hour drive ahead of us. Of course, we still had plenty of stuff on my playlist to listen to, but no, we just ended up yapping for 10 hours again about GLC, the Cube games throughout the weekend, and that's when we decided, you know what, we yap a lot. Why not start a podcast? And that's how this podcast started. So we have a few topics to talk about today, of course. Starting off, of course, with GLC. I love GLC. I've got all 11 types built in GLC. At the store that I mentioned earlier, I organized for. I do GLC tournaments bi-weekly, so we've got plenty of GLC going on all the time. I do that more than I play standard, you know. So
yeah, I started getting into GLC like probably at the same time I started getting into standard, and coming from a Magic background in the past, right, and mostly Commander, it was the first time I felt in another card game the type of like fun that I would have in like a round table of like Commander. That like I remember when the format was explained to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to look through all my ball, dude.
We just get to play the cards that we literally never play in any other format. It's just a fun format. So with that said, we're going to talk a bit about GLC. As of recording this, we're recording this on the 28th, I believe, or wait, is it the 29th?
It's the 28th, yeah.
28th. We're recording this on the 28th, so that's 4 days after the new bans just happened. They banned DCE and Twin Energy. For those of you that don't know, listeners, those are like 2 of the best double energy effects in the game.
So I guess what we can do is like we just had a GLC event at our local game store a couple days ago, and I think what we can do is kind of like talk about our decks that we played for the event.
Yeah. And
then kind of say how the bans kind of affected them, and then kind of overall what GLC is like. How you think GLC is going to be affected in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So we had 6 players for a GLC event that I had ran. Of course, technically I run them, but I also like to play, so I get to play in them too. People don't mind. It's okay. But we had 6 players, so there was me with a dragon. Adan had a burn fire deck. James had a metal deck. Dawn was borrowing somebody's grass deck. Abby had my version of fire, and then Victor had
the unoptimal fire.
Oh, the Lost Zone psychic deck. I don't want to hear it, Don. Come on.
Unoptimal fire. Bro.
Yeah.
Unoptimal, bro.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So we had 6 players, 3 rounds. And how'd you do it, Don, with your optimal fire deck?
Hey man, okay. So my first round, I went up against Vic. He was playing Lost Box Psychic, and I guess I should preface this by saying that my fire deck is like my baby. The fire type is my favorite type, by far. But the deck, the way I built it, it's centered around Oricorio. Do you know what set that Oricorio is from?
I want to say it's like Unified Minds or something like that.
It's the Captivating Salsa Oricorio. So what it does is, for 1 fire energy, you bring up a guy off from the bench, and it's burned and it's confused. So that is the attack for the deck.
Celestial Storm the set.
There you go. Yeah. The Oricorio from Celestial Storm. So the deck is built around trying to Oricorio pretty much 6 times, right? You want to be taking all your prize cards with Oricorio. We've got, I don't know, like I think we've got like 6, 7, or 8 effects to bring Oricorio back from the discard pile. We play Revive. We play all the stretchers. We play Ordinary Rod. We play
Rescue Carrier.
We play Rescue Carrier, dude. 90 HP.
He plays so many that he ended up cutting Clara. That's just there's so many item ways to get it back that Clara was bad.
We play Luxcape Penny. We play Luxcape Penny Lucamine, right?
So you can loop the penny and keep looping the Oricorio.
And then we play stuff to like keep the active Pokemon in the Burn and Confused active in the active, right? So we play like Galar Mine. We play the Gemstone.
Gravity Gemstone.
So that's the vibe, right? That's the deck. That's my fire deck in a nutshell.
That's the optimal fire deck.
In my opinion, the optimal fire deck.
So anyways, Adan, what was your record again?
I went
on the record.
I went 1-2. Okay. I lost to Lost Box Psychic. It was close. And then I lost to... What was the second game that I played?
Who'd you play against?
I played against... Who did I... Oh, I played against...
Oh, was it... It was Abby, right?
Oh, that's true. I played against Fire.
She cooked you with my fire deck because Skeledirge prevents all effective attacks.
So I was... Who was I attacking with? I was attacking with Turtonator, which is... It's going to come up because of the bans. I was attacking with Turtonator, who his first attack for 1 fire and 2 double colorless, he locks them. They can't retreat, and it also burns, right? But not Skeledirge.
Yeah, Skeledirge built different.
Yeah, Skeledirge not him. He can't get burned and he can't get locked because of his ability, right? So I got pretty. That game was pretty bad for me.
You got cooked by the fire deck.
I got cooked by
his fire deck got burnt actually.
Yeah, and then probably the funniest thing to happen in the final round, I went up against Butter.
Yeah.
Who started Dratini.
And I passed. And he started Captivating Salsa Oricorio.
The best card in the deck.
Yeah, the best card in the deck, of course. Now, if you don't know, Oricorio has the second attack, actually.
I hadn't even noticed.
It's called Heat Blast. For fire and 2 colorless, does 70 damage, which is how much HP Dratini has.
And I just happened to open up Giant Hearth, Welder. Now, I didn't have any extra fire energy in the hand. So what I had to do, I went Giant Hearth, grabbed 2 energies out of the deck, welder them onto the Oricorio, and if I happened to hit the fire energy off the welder, I just had game. And we slow rolled the draws one at a time. 1, 2, 3, and of course that last card was the fire energy I needed to donk Butter's Dratini.
Which ended up making me get second, and I didn't get my Dragon Gym badge because of resistances. James had gone 2-1 with his metal deck and won the event. Good for him. He got his metal badge. I think that was his 4th badge, I want to say.
Next time, start two dudes, buddy. I don't know what to say. You know, just start 2 dudes.
I mean, I had Hisuian Heavy Ball in my hand, but I just didn't prize any guys. So.
Yeah, it'd be like that, though.
It do.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that the only win I got was not even with, like, the theme of the deck. I just cheesed
it 70. Didn't even burn me.
Nope, no burn, no gravity gemstone, no shenanigans.
He used 2 cards that are literally in every fire deck.
Yeah.
Every other optimal fire deck.
So all that to say, my fire, and I think that's kind of like the spirit of GLC, right? Like,
to be fair,
like I think everybody's got a deck that like, is it optimal? Probably not, but like
it's a pet deck.
You want to make it work so bad, and like you like pour over lists and you like look at ball to try and see like if there's any tech that can make your strategy actually work. And like I think that's my favorite, and that's why like that deck is so near and dear to me, because like I know that's my list, you know, and like all the cards are like so carefully selected to do the thing, you know, to Oricorio 6 times.
Exactly. So with that said, that was our little recap of the GLC event that we did. Next we're going to talk about the bans, of course. They banned DC and Twin. Now, of course, the reason they did that is because Colorless is kind of broken.
Colorless is kind of broken, bro. It's kind of broken.
It just got recently with the new set, Journey Together. It just got Hops Cramorant and Hops Double, which they don't even play half the time. And Hops Snorlax,
yeah.
the Postwick and the Hops Choice Band, they got it all. And now, of course, those the Snorlax kind of takes advantage of the DC and Twin, because you can just attach one of those and then the Choice Band, and you're just attacking off the get-go. But even with those bands, Colorless is still pretty good, of course. So we'll see how that ends up shaping up the meta for GLC, because I mean, people are still going to try and make Colorless work, because like the deck has so much going for it. It has draw, it has like all of the draw support you could ever want. So many good attackers too.
It's just super good, super flexible too. I mean,
yeah,
like it's got anything.
I've seen plenty of lists that are playing like the crazy code Porygon to just throw a bunch of special energy in play, and yeah, they just lost 2, but I mean, they still have Special Charge, they still have Rozan's backup, you know, they have plenty of ways to get those special energies back.
And the thing about the bans is, though, like, and I guess specifically for my fire deck in general, or like my fire deck in specific, like, the reason Turtonator is there is to have another guy that locks somebody in the active and burns, right? Because I run Magmar and I run Volcarona, so like 70 HP. And the good thing about that is that, you know, you can go 70 HP, and then on the pass it back to you, that's 140, knocks out a bunch of stuff, and then you just bring something, whatever the next best target is to bring up to the active and trap, that's what you do, right? And so Turtonator gives you another option for that. But now I have to, like, since it's 1 fire, 2 colorless, I have to either welder onto it or like blacksmith, where before, like, it was way better to just go, you know, like
DC
attach a fire DC or twin. And so, like, having one less option for, like, for bad decks, you know, like it's
like, yeah, it was meant to make normal more on par with the rest of the format, but then it also hurt the rest of the format, because like some fireless play it, Dark plays it because of the Guzzlord, you know.
Yeah, Guzzlord.
The other types, I'm sure there's different versions that play DC and or Twin, but now they can't, you know. So, well, it's going to be interesting to see how that ends up playing out for the upcoming GLC events that I'll run, and of course GLC events at some of the next regionals and NAIC at the end of the season before Worlds. It's going to be interesting to see how the bands shape the meta furthermore.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how what dark lists look like nowadays without all the DCE and twin energies and stuff.
I mean, they still have double turbo, but they're just not going to be drawing into it as often as they would, since they can't play 2 anymore.
Yeah, and you likely can't go like Guzzlord, they KO, and then you just go like powered up, like
do it again.
Do it again.
You can't Guzzlord realistically twice back-to-back turns.
You know what? In hindsight,
it's probably fine.
It's probably fine. It's probably fine actually.
So,
but my Turtonator, bro, I can't Turtonator twice now, dude.
Just do it with DTE.
I can't heat black, but I'm gonna Turtonator for like 30 damage.
That's where the burn comes in, man.
Plus 70, 100 damage. Nah, it's pretty bad.
Nah, it's okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, anyways, so on to our next topic. We talked about GLC. What's next? Is it time to talk about the cube?
Yeah, let's talk about some of the cubing that we did.
Yeah, so with this particular cube draft that me and my group of friends we have built, we call ourselves the Cube Council. Play on words with the Jedi Council for the Star Wars fans out there. It's a cube. It's 640 cards, and it's from base set to now. You got cards all the way back from the beginning of the game all the way to now, and we update it every set. So it's always got fresh cards coming in, old cards getting taken out, because, you know, Pokemon likes to power creep, of course. So new cards tend to be better than older cards, like Hops Cramorant, for example. So we added in Journey Together cards, and we did those 3 drafts. And that was a lot of fun. We did some cool stuff. We got some cool decks going on.
And just for context, it is a high power cube. So like think about like most of the broken effects throughout like Pokemon's history. I mean, and the other thing is that like when you're playing the 2 different eras of cards, together. There's like a couple different rules, right? So you want to go through like kind of some of the special rules
Oh
for the
yeah,
cube?
yeah, of course. So with base set to now, you have all the different versions of abilities we've had throughout the years.
Pokebodies, Pokepowers.
Yeah, Pokemon powers, which is technically different than Pokepowers, and then of course our modern day abilities. And some abilities throughout the years shut off those different versions of abilities, like Garbodor's Garbotoxin, or a random example, Igglybuff shuts off Pokebodies or Pokemon powers, I believe, on the bench specifically. So like, needless to say, all these cards throughout the years have shut off abilities, the different versions of abilities through the past all the way up to now. And what we do is we just kind of blanket the effect. So if Hex Maniac is played and it says it shuts off abilities, it's going to shut off the Pokemon powers, the Poke powers, and the Pokebodies too. And same thing with Goop Gas Attack, and even like something like Garbotoxin Garbodor. It's going to shut them all off just to like even the playing field for some of the older abilities,
and kind of simplify it too a little bit, right? Because like you don't need effects that specifically target Pokebodies or Pokepowers or whatever, and that way you can just kind of Hex Maniac just shuts off all the dudes that do the thing, right?
Exactly, yeah. So you got that, and then also it's a mutant cube. So you've got, for example, you can evolve your Charmander into Ninetales, and then your Ninetales into Infernape. But that's only because they share the same type. They have to share the same type in order to evolve. But it goes basic stage 1, stage 2, just like normal, except you don't need to have a Charmeleon for your Charmander and a Charizard for your Charmeleon. You just have whatever. So
no EVs.
So no EVs. There is one EV in the cube. It can evolve into any stage 1 normal type.
Oh, well, there you go.
And there is one singular evolution in the cube. Well, no, there's two. Sorry, they're both Umbreon. You got Umbreon EX and Umbreon the Lost Thunder one. We just kind of throw in there. You can evolve that EV into the Umbreon.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's allowed.
It doesn't change a lot, so you get to do that. That's fine. But it's things like that. So you got the mutant rule. The abilities kind of blanket whenever they are all just the same thing essentially. And then of course it's a singleton cube, so one of everything. There's only one Boss's Orders, there's only one Guzma, there's only one VS Seeker, there's only one Quick Ball, so whenever you're drafting the cube, you got to be mindful of that. You got to see like, oh, that's the only card that's the only one of that card I'm going to see. If I really want it, I better get it now before somebody else takes it.
Yeah,
and that's part of the drafting experience, of course.
Yeah, one of the hardest parts about drafting that cube is, I mean, like I said, it's high power, and like, I mean, they're not kidding. Like, a pack one pick one is like one of the hardest decisions, just, unless it's like a super, and like I say super broken, but like a lot of the times there's just so much stuff that's super broken. I mean, you'll have packs you'll open up and it's like Guzma broken time space, like just like the craziest trainers and like stuff, like, from all of Pokemon's history, and you're just like, what do I even do?
Well, it's like, what do we even grab? Do I grab Broken Time Space or Claydol, the one that draws the cards? Like, you don't know what to do, especially on the Verse Pack.
Yeah.
But a couple of the other rules, of course, now they're Radiant Pokemon. These ones just rotated out recently. We had rotation actually just earlier this month, as of recording. So with Radiance in the cube, you can play as many Radiants as you want in your deck. It doesn't affect a lot in this format, so we just allow it. Same thing with Ace-Specs, actually. So we have Ace-Specs in Standard, of course. Everybody's familiar, I would assume, with the pink cards. A lot of them are pretty good. Prime Catcher, Sparkling Crystal, for example, or Unfair Stamp even. You can play multiple in the cube if you want. When you find them, they'll appear in packs just like any other cards. But if you find Prime Catcher and then you get Unfair Stamp after that, you're like, all right, I get to play both.
You just get to play both, which is pretty good.
And the reason that's a recent change we added to the cube, because the reason we did that was just because like there's so many good cards that aren't ace specs in the cube, like Gust of Wind, which is just boss's orders as an item for newer players that don't know, or even like VS Seeker. VS Seeker gets a supporter from your discard. Miracle Headset does the same thing, but for 2. So, I mean, yes, the headset gets 1 more than VS Seeker, but, I mean, VS Seeker's still just as good, and it's not an A-spec, so...
Yeah, a lot of the times, like, I'll get, like, a lot of the times I've had packs where I'll pass A-specs. I'll have several A-specs passed to me just because the power level of the cards is so high that, like... You know, if you see a Master Ball A-spec and then you see like a Guzma, you're like, well, I mean, come on.
You're going to grab Guzma.
You're going to grab Guzma every time,
exactly.
bro.
So, with that said, over the weekend, I want to say the highest amount of A-specs I saw on somebody's deck was 4. They had 4 A-specs, Adan.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a really cool fire deck.
That's crazy.
I don't even remember what A-specs he had, but they were cool. But yeah, we did a lot of cubing. With this new set that's coming out, Destined Rivals, we're gonna be adding some new cards from that set too. That'll be legal for NAIC. We're gonna have NAIC coming up soon, which means we'll be doing another big cube draft in the same convention center as NAIC. And we're gonna have at least 4 of the people with the cube built. So that means we could do up to 40 players. We could have a 40-player cube drafted on.
That's gonna be sick. I mean, and like it was just so much fun when I played in Atlanta. For the big cube draft, we had how many? Was it like 20 people that showed up?
Yeah, 20 for the biggest one.
The biggest one. Yeah, and it was so cool getting to play because like these are a lot of cards that like you just don't get to play with. Like I mean, Computer Search, Gust of Wind, like Guzma, Broken Time Space. You know, it's just fun to get to play with cards that like. This is the only time that you would be able to really like use them is in an environment like Cube where everything is so tailored. The power level is so tailored where all the interactions for the most part are on par with each other, right? Like yeah, there are some things that might feel a little bit better than others, but it feels like there's always an out. It feels like all the cards are on the same level. Even stuff like Broken Time Space, even stuff like Clay Doll, right? Off the top of my head.
Yeah, for sure. With that said, what's our next topic? We talked about GLC, we talked about the Cube, Atlanta lore, of course.
Talked about Atlanta. Do you want to talk about the format we're cooking up?
Oh yeah, we can allude a little bit. It's still in the works.
Well, what about you want to like preview it with Epic Splash for the listeners at home who've never played a game of Epic Splash for some reason?
Yeah, let's talk about some Epic Splash. All right, so this is a format that was pioneered by forgive me if I completely butcher this name, Stefan Eriksson, the one and only. Or no, maybe it's not Stefan, it might be Jesper. Either way, I think it's one of them. They both have the same last name. I'm pretty sure it's Stefan. But anyways, he created Epic Splash, where it's a 60-card mirror, and you've got your only basic Pokemon is 4 Magikarp with the attack Epic Splash. It flips 2 coins, and for each heads, or if you get 2 heads, you get to attack. If you get a tails, the attack does nothing. But with this format, you have at least with official side events that they do for Epic Splash, they use 5 evolutions, but in unofficial side events, we use Exodia pieces from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, so you might be attacking, but a lot of the times, you know, if either one of them is tails, you're not getting through. So the way you really want to, a lot of the times the way that you win is by drawing the 5 pieces of Exodia.
Now, of course, drawing into all 5 pieces of Exodia could be a very difficult task, but there is an added rule with Epic Splash where whenever you roll the dice for Epic Splash's attack, or Magikarp's attack, and you roll a 1 or a 2, you get to search your deck for a piece of Exodia and put it in your hand and shuffle your deck afterward. So that makes it a little bit easier to try and get all the pieces in your hand, but it also creates a lot of counterplay where your opponent has cards that can shuffle your hand away, discard cards from your hand.
Yeah, delinquent it's in the 60.
Yeah, so majority of the 60 cards in the Epic Splash list are flip coin cards, we're rolling dice the entire time.
It's pretty much the game, right?
Coin
it's
flip the format.
Yeah, coin flip the format. But it's a lot of fun because both players have the exact same 60, so it's not really like you can like. It's all about, so you have pretty much perfect knowledge of what your opponent has, barring like your prize cards, right?
Of course.
So it's really like ridiculous because of all the coin flips, but at the same time, like I would consider it to be very skillful, right? Like I think that like, and of course like there's lots of skill involved, but of course you can just get blown out, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a really fun format.
Yeah. With that said, we had gone to Atlanta, and of course, Adan scrubbed out. We played GLC that day, and then did the queue. But while we were doing the queue, we did catch a little bit of the top 8 stream and the actual main tournament that went on that weekend, and we saw something. I'm sure a lot of the listeners at home saw the Badoo mirror.
The Badoo mirror in Atlanta Regional Finals.
Yeah,
between Henry Chow and
Andrew Hedrick.
Yeah,
where they Badooed for like, I want to say it was 40 minutes of the game. Game 1 was 40 minutes long. Like half that game was just them Badooing.
Yeah, I think the commentator started to get a Badoo counter going. I think somebody somewhere on Twitter had like a Badoo counter for finals that day.
They were just Badooing like the whole time, and then they did a lot of that in game 2 as well. But with that said, we thought that was a lot of fun. So.
I mean, who doesn't like a good Badoo mirror? I mean,
if
you're playing Standard right now, you gotta like a Badoo mirror, right?
You have to like a Badoo mirror in Standard, because like everybody plays Badoo. That card's insane.
That's what you do. You go second, you Badoo. You go first, you Badoo, right?
And of course, with that said, we decided, why not make a Badoo mirror match similar to Epic Splash?
You only get 4 basics. It's Badoo.
It's just Badoo.
Same 60.
You both play the same 60. It's we're still working on the list a little bit. We're trying to develop it, but I'm sure by the next episode that comes out, we'll have a list to share with y'all.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have something to share with you. I mean, we got some ideas. We're cooking. We're trying to cook the list so that it can be fun, and it's not just you want to gouge your eyeballs out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna debut the Badoo format come next episode theoretically. So stay tuned for that.
What about, do you have any Pokemon plans for the rest of the week, Butter?
Oh, yeah, so,
anything you're working on, maybe?
Yeah. So, of course, NEIC is coming up in June. I'll just be spectating, but some of our locals they actually did register as competitors, including Adan himself.
Yes, I will be playing in the main event at NAIC. Hopefully,
he will be playing Standard.
Yes, I will be playing Standard. I mean, this is my fifth major, so I still haven't gotten a day 2 type thing. So he's still working to some goals. Still working it.
Yeah. So with that said, we're probably gonna hopefully start off the NAIC boot camp, if you will, and try and get Adan some more test games. We already did some at locals tonight. So we'll probably do some more later in the week, hopefully. But this next weekend we got coming up another GLC event. So some more GLC event. Hopefully, I would love to get my final badge. I'm on 10 badges right now.
Dang. But I mean, you just gotta start 2 dudes instead of
I just gotta start 2 dudes instead. I guess
can't get heat blasted, bro.
We're not. I guess I gotta be built different next weekend.
You just gotta start 2 guys. That's it.
All right. Yeah. So
So, if y'all have any questions for us about either for any of the formats we talked about, right? Well, we went over some GLC, we went over Epic Splash, we went over Cube, right? We talked about Cube.
Yeah, we talked about so much. If y'all have any questions, of course, feel free to leave a comment on. We've got an email you can email.
DM us on Twitter.
Yeah, DM us on Twitter. We'll have a link tree. You'll be able to find our socials. So
for sure.
Any closing thoughts, Adan?
I guess the last thing I'll say about like the podcast in general, right, is that I mean we talked about what 3 different formats. We talked about Epic Splash, GLC, Cube, a format that we're brewing, right? And like, and I know I've got my own cube I'm working on like a different cube that I'm working on the side, and so like the reason we're kind of part of the reason that I wanted to do this podcast is just to talk to Butter, of course, but talk to more and get more people into like all these different formats, because we didn't even talk about like expanded, bro.
We didn't talk about extended. We didn't talk about the party box.
The party box.
I'm
on Twitter so excited to try party box. Like, so there's all these different like
formats.
All these different formats. So much fun. Like, some of the most fun I have in Pokemon is playing with all these cards that like I've had since I was a kid, you know, and all these formats, you know, that facilitate those. So I'm just excited to share my love for like those old, really niche, really cool, very powerful cards with, you know, more people.
Yeah, so with that said, going forward with the podcast episodes, of course we're going to be talking about anything but standard, but that'll mostly be what our topics are about going forward. So expect a lot of that, you know. So with that said, I think that about wraps up this first episode.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot to discuss. We had a pretty good time. And thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I mean, you know, to me it's just yapping, and so if you had a good time, you know, hanging out, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I think of that. All right, that sounds good to me.
All right.
We'll catch y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.